everyone, Draco Magnius here for another 0.5 episode of Ni no Kuni. We're doing this 0.5 episode to cover the Nazcaä familiars, because there's a total of 17 of them to cover. So instead of doing it in that episode, which would eat up a decent portion of time, we're just going to do it now in this 0.5 episode to prep you for when we actually go to Nazcaä. Before we get started on that, let me tell you a story. So, I was finally done recording everything for Ni no Kuni. I got to the finale. Well, not everything. There's still the bonus episodes. But anyway, I filmed up to the finale. And today, December 6th at approximately 1:24. I mean, it was before this that I noticed, but I'm getting sidetracked again. Anyway, where everything posted. And I realized something while editing this 0.5 episode originally. The video, for some strange reason that I'm not quite sure how, was shorter than the audio I recorded. So, I'm re-recording all of this after everything is said and done in a file that's just before the moment that I saved where I completed the game. So I'm mildly annoyed at this, because the audio that I recorded I thought was pretty dang good, all things considered. But now that's never seeing the light of day, because the video was off. But with all that said and done, let's get started. First up is the Batterhorn. Batterhorn is resistant to physical attacks. It is unknown what they drop, but they know Enlighten, Whirligig, Thunderstorm, and more. Now we move on to the next one, which is the Scruffian. Scruffian is resistant to fire and weak to water. It is unknown what they drop, but they know Belly Buster, Poison Pinch, Plasma Ball, and more. There's a lot of reminders on this list, but we do have two new familiars that we're going to be covering, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Up next is the Barn Dancer. Barn Dancer is resistant to physical attacks, but weak to water. It is unknown what they drop, but they know Drowsy Drops, Yoo-Hoo, Darkness Beckons, and more. By the way, a lot of them, actually I think all of them, have unknown drop, which is why, little itty-bitty spoiler, when I go into Nazcaä in the actual Let's Play, I'm going to be stealing from a lot of these creatures to find out what it is they drop. Anyway, next familiar is, literally on the next page, the Full Bore. Full Bore is resistant to fire and weak to water. Unknown what they drop, but they know Heat Ray, Hocus Pocus, Wallop, and more. But we're not done yet, not even close. Next up, the Hierophant. Hierophant is resistant to water, but weak to physical attacks. Unknown what they drop, but they know Whirly Whirls, Crosswind, Water Cannon, and more. Next up is a brand new familiar, the Fighting Gale. Fighting Gales, these creatures are easily embarrassed and blush whenever anyone looks at them. They hide their shame by wearing a tough homemade helmet that covers their entire head. They have no weaknesses or resistances. They are born under the star sign. They are found, obviously, at Nazcaä. They aren't quite sure what they drop. They know Yoo-Hoo, Sandblast, and Whirligig. But with all that said and done, we move on to what the Fighting Gale first evolves into. The Nightingale. Nightingales are creatures whose heroic appearance gives the courage to those who fight alongside them. Rumor has it their eyes burn bright red within their helmets. Like the previous form, it has no weaknesses nor resistances. It is born under the star sign. It is unknown where they're found and unknown what they drop. But they know Healthy Glow, Plasma Ball, Sea Stars, and more. The thing is, if I remember correctly, I think I know where you find Nightingales. But it's been a while since I've recorded all the videos, so I could be wrong, so I'm going to refrain from mentioning where they could be found. Next up, the Nightingale can evolve into a Paladin Partridge. Ostentatious creatures who wish to become legendary heroes, and can often be seen rashly risking their lives for others during battle. The Paladin Partridge is resistant to light. It is born under the star sign. I will tell you where this one found. We're actually going to cover it later. It's kind of a spoiler, and that's why I didn't put it here. But it is found in the final dungeon of the game. What they drop? Unknown. They know Enlighten, Mighty Light, Ray of Life, and more. And the other form Nightingale can become is the Bushido Bantam. Loyal creatures known for their calm and rational decision-making. They train rigorously every day and show respect towards even their most bitter rivals. They have no weaknesses or resistances. They are born under the star sign. This one, I will say, as far as I've seen so far, cannot be found in the game in a certain location. They must be evolved. It is unknown what they drop for that reason, and they know Sharpener, Slice and Dice, Thunderbolt, and more. Alright, and next on the list we have the Florid Floret. They are weak to water. It is unknown what they drop, but they know Slice and Dice, Petrifying Puff, Smoke Bomb, and more. Next up on the list is, first of the Automata genus here, the Paleolith. Paleolith is resistant to physical attacks. It is unknown what they drop. They know Thunderstorm, Razzle Dazzle, Upsy Daisy, and more. And the next Automata on the list is, literally right on the next page, the Super Cogductor. Super Cogductor is resistant to storms. It is unknown what they drop, but they know Thunderbolt, Pick Me Up, Short Circuit, and more. Next on the list, still in the Automata genus, we have a brand new familiar, the Fuddy Daddy. Quick note on Fuddy Daddy, he's one of the familiars that can be found on the page where it gives you secretly glimpses at where you can find very rare familiars. You know, the one where you zoom into certain things and it shows you, like, here's a familiar location? Fuddy Daddy's one of them. There's only one of him on Nazcaä that you can bump into, and I'll be showing you where that is. But without further ado, let's get started on the actual entry. Though they are always cajoling everyone around them, it would seem that Fuddy Daddies are just lonely creatures, desperately seeking attention. They are resistant to storm, but weak to water. They are born under the moon sign. It is unknown what they drop, but they know Yoo-Hoo, Razzle Dazzle, and Plasma Ball. Quick note, I do know what they drop, or at least one of the things they drop, is a bubble pipe, so if you need that for any recipe you're looking forward to making, Fuddy Daddy's what drops it. Anyway, the Fuddy Daddy can evolve into the Big Daddy. Big Daddies are very proud of the metal armor that keeps them safe from attack. They are less proud of the fact that it rusts easily upon contact with water, which is bizarre because the Big Daddies are also in BioShock and they seem pretty fine, although they are a bit rusty, I suppose. They're resistant to storm and, like it mentions in the description there, weak to water. It's unknown where to find them, unknown what they drop, but they know Thunderstorm, Sea Stars, Rockfall, and more. Next, the Big Daddy can evolve into a Grand Daddy. The trademark pipe in the mouth of these mechanical creatures is actually an exhaust port through which they release gases produced by their inner workings. Like the previous forms, resistant to storm, weak to water. It is born under the star sign. It's unknown what they drop and unknown where they're found, but they know Smoke Bomb, Crosswind, Mighty Light, and more. And the last one on the list, the one that the Big Daddy can evolve into, well, not the list, it's the last one that it can evolve into, is the Baddie Daddy. In my personal opinion, Baddie Daddy kind of looks like Dr. Robotnik from Sonic. I haven't really ever played a Sonic game, but from what I've seen on the internet, at least I think he looks like Dr. Robotnik. I think the first form also does, but this one looks like it more, in my opinion. Anyway, Baddie Daddy. Baddie Daddy's appetite for mischief is even greater than their appetite for food. Nothing makes them happier than a troubled expression on a human face. They are resistant to fire and weak to storm. They are born under the star sign. It's unknown where to find them or what they drop, but they know Sharpener, Ray Gun, Sabotage, and more. But we're not done yet. We still have quite a few. Next up, the Nightcap. Nightcap is resistant to storms. It's unknown what they drop, but they know Smoke Bomb, Gustbuster, Lovestruck, and more. But now we move on to the next one on the list. In the Vermes family, we have the Petramander. Petramander is resistant to fire, storm, water, but weak to physical attacks. So resistant to magic, weak to physical. It is unknown what they drop, but they know Crosswind, Twister, Petrifying Puff, and more. Quick note before we move on to the next one, I do remember one of the things they do drop is Stone Begone. They can petrify you, so you still have a chance of stealing Stone Begone if you don't have any on hand. But anyway, now we'll move on to the next one on the list, another one in the Vermes, the Weaver Diva. Weaver Diva has no weaknesses nor resistances. It is unknown what they drop, but they know Healing Rain, Mighty Light, Lease of Life, and more. But now we move on to the next one on the list, the Sweet Pea Sprite. Sweet Pea is resistant to light and weak to fire. It is unknown what they drop, but they know Second Wind, Water Cannon, Sharpener, and more. Now we move on to the next one on our list, the Starshade. Starshade has no weaknesses nor resistances. It is unknown what they drop. They know Razzle Dazzle, Thunderstorm, Crosswind, and more. If I'm remembering correctly, which I might not be, I think they drop Meteor Fragments. I do recall a decent portion of the creatures on Nazcaä drop Meteor Fragments. I don't remember all of them, but I'm pretty sure this one does drop it. But now we move on to the next one on the list, another Daemona on our list. Another new one, we have the Relics. Relics is actually the first form of Marcuson's familiar, which makes you wonder, how did Marcuson get a Relics? I mean, he'd have to beat it going to Nazcaä, and there was no way to get there before now. I mean, I suppose it's possible since it is, you know, the creature of your spirit that creates your first familiar. Maybe he just happened to have its next evolutionary form, but that'd be a guess on my part. Anyway, let's get into them. These creatures use their large ears as wings to fly through the sky. Though much is still unknown about relics, sages agree that they are foes to be avoided at all costs. They have no weaknesses or resistances. They drop black wings. I remember that. They might drop something else. I don't remember what that is, but they do drop black wings for a fact. They know Water Bomb, Whirligig, and Razzle Dazzle. And the relics can evolve into the Electrics, Marcuson's first familiar. Creatures capable of summoning storms to smite their enemies. Though they are believed to train rigorous every day, no one has ever actually seen them doing so. They have no weaknesses or resistances. They are born under the star sign. It is unknown where to find them, unknown what they drop. But they know Plasma Ball, Generator, Mighty Light, and more. They can evolve into the Medics. These elegant creatures seem to dance through the air. Though their faces never betray any emotion, they always come to the aid of an injured companion. They are resistant to darkness. They are born under the star sign. It doesn't say there, but they are found in the final dungeon of the game. It is unknown what they drop. They know Healing Rain, Water Cannon, Shower Curtain, and more. And the Electric can also evolve into the Angelics. Angelics are foes that are transfixed by the general magnificence of these creatures, making their devastating wind spells all the more unexpected. You might say they never see them coming. Anyway, they are resistant to light. It is unknown where to find them, unknown what they drop. Oh, I forgot to mention they're born under the star sign. Whoops, did I say that? No, star too. Anyway, unknown where to find them, unknown what they drop. They know Wind Tunnel, Healthy Glow, Twinkle Twinkle, and more. And the last thing on our list, we've finally come to the end, is Walk Like an Egyptian. They are resistant to darkness. It is unknown what they drop, but they know Darkness Beckons, Time to Shine, Final Curtain, and more. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we end this 0.5 episode here. I'll see you all in the next episode.